What is Gaia's unit roster? What are her strengths and weaknesses? What's an efficient build order and what to do after that? All these questions will be answered in the following video. Welcome to No BS Game Guides. Let's go and have a look on how to play Gaia on Age of Mythology Retold. Gaia's traits are all focused around the economy. Her god power spawns a forest which will provide you with wood faster than usual, and her signature passive will give you 40% discount on the economical upgrades, plus they will also be available one age ahead of their time. This will set us on a path where we have to research the economical upgrades as soon as possible to get the most out of it. The things are getting complicated though, because most of the current meta gods are all focused on a second age full army attacks. To survive that and reach the heroic age where our build is starting to get in form, we have to create an army big enough to stop the enemy forces. Thankfully, our early unit roster as Atlanteans is not that bad. We have Murmillo, available from the military barracks, a flexible unit with no specific counter trait, but it has good stats all around, making him a good choice against pretty much anything. Upgrading Murmillos into heroes will give them the required myth bonus damage multiplier to face any enemy myth units. Our early answer against cavalry will be Catapeltas, a unit available from the counter barracks with 4 times multiplier damage against cavalry. Both Murmillo and Catapeltas will require food for their production, so you will have to either focus on one of them or mix them together in an army. But no matter what you do, you will also have to recruit a few Turma. Turma is an anti-archer cavalry unit available from the counter barracks that requires wood instead of wood, so it will help us grow in numbers without spending all our precious food. You can also upgrade them into heroes by spending wood and have them to deal with the enemy myth units. Lastly, we have Hero Ballista. Creating Hero Ballistas is a hard choice to make because they are quite expensive and they are pretty weak if the enemy melee units caught up to them. On the other hand, if the enemy army contains lots of foot soldiers and you have units that can hold the line, having a dozen of those in the back can erase whole armies in seconds. For our second age myth unit, we will see only Calandria in this video. A flying healer with 3 unique abilities. One ability that will slow down enemies, one ability that heals ally units per second, and lastly a burst healing ability that will replenish a unit to its full health. Calandria can also be used to bait enemy arrows since she can dodge them quite easily before the enemy archers require the ballistics upgrade. Now that we have a basic idea of our early unit roster, all we need is a plan to secure the second gold mine, advance to heroic age and capture a second town center. Let's begin with the build order. The 2 initial villagers will go straight to hunt, only one of them will first have to build an economic guild. The moment the economic guild is ready, research both wood and gold upgrades. The first spawned villager will go to gold and the one after that will go to wood. Try to place Gaia's forest in any way you think is best. After that, all the following villagers will go to food. You will have to create a house with the gold villager, and later, when you have enough resources, you will also have to build a temple with the same villager. If you have your timings right, your temple will be ready a few seconds before the last villager spawn, and you will have enough resources to advance to the second age. The moment you put advance into queue, you will have to relocate your villagers for the first time. We want to have 3 villagers on food, 4 on wood and 3 on gold. 2 villagers on food and 1 villager on wood are enough for the town center to continue creating villagers. After you reach the second age though, you will have to construct 5 buildings that all require wood. This is why we will use the food villager to build the following structures. You will need a house, 2 to 3 military barracks and an armory. If you are expecting enemy cavalry units, you can create 2 counter barracks and be able to recruit Catapeltas and some Turma, as I suggested earlier. But if you are planning to focus more on Murmillo, you should have 2 military barracks and 1 counter barrack for Turma. After you're done with the buildings, you can relocate 1 or 2 of the wood villagers to food, but I recommend to leave at least 2 on wood. All the upcoming villagers will go to food until you reach at least 10. Now is the time where you have to create an army. I usually try to recruit at least 10 more Milos and Catapultas in total, upgrade some of them into heroes to be able to deal with the enemy myth units, and 5 Turma. After you reach at least 10 infantry units, it's worth to take the medium upgrade from the barracks. I can't give you a specific number of units that you can recruit to be safe, but I believe 10 melee units and 5 Turma is a good minimum number to then start focusing on gathering resources to advance to the 3rd age. Our goal is to reach the 3rd age and with Thea's god power create 2 Hesperides trees that will give you 10 Dryads in total. Dryads are maybe the only myth unit that costs only wood and no favor at all. They are very strong against pretty much anything and they can tank and destroy buildings quite efficiently. On the 3rd age you will also gain access to your elite units. Arcus, which is very dependable anti-infantry ranged unit, and Contarius, one of the strongest cavalry units in the game. Going into Thea's minor god will also give you access to Lance of Stone and Poseidon's Secret, which will also boost Contarius even more. After you hit the advance button with an optimal time around 9 minutes, you can relocate your villagers in a way to gather enough wood and gold to be able to capture a second town center. After you start capturing the second town center, all that's left to do now is to create and upgrade an army until you reach max population. At this point you want to complete all the economical upgrades and start transitioning your villagers into farms. Make sure to research ballistics from the armory in case you are planning to recruit Arcus, and have some destroyers to help you take down some buildings. In general, you want to mass produce Contarius since they are the strongest unit in your roster, but of course you can't force them no matter what, because the enemy can hard counter them very easily. Most importantly, you will have to build as many barracks as you can. The strength of a good economy backbone is that you can replenish your armies faster than your opponent and finally destroys his armies by depleting his economy. For that you will need lots and lots of barracks. Let's now go back and have a look on a few tips and tricks about Gaia. At the beginning of the game you will start with 3 oracles. Since your build order is quite slow and easy to execute, make sure to make the most out of these 3 oracles and explore the map. Sometimes you will find very good relics along the way that even if you don't need them, you don't want your enemies to have them. It is a good idea to have 1 or 2 of your oracles upgraded into heroes to carry these relics back to base, but not before starting advancing on the 2nd age. Another tip for beginners about oracles is that they will provide you with the max amount of favor if their maxed out visibility line is not touching each other, so you can hide them behind your base for a constant favor production. Another unique Gaia trait that I haven't emphasized is that your lash heals units and buildings for 1 hit point per second. Also, with the upgrade channels available from the temple or the town center, your units will also move 50% faster on lash. The reason I mention this now is because you can create houses or better economic deals around the map and grow lash everywhere. The enemy will not spend time to destroy all of these economic deals and they will provide you with healing and movement speed. If you are following my strategy and you are keeping your armies intact until the 3rd age, there is a very good chance that your opponent will also have a great army to confront you. The only problem is that most of the enemy gods will have spells at the time that can turn the tide of battle. Norse armies will have fire weapons, Greek armies will have bronze, other Atlanteans will have chaos. If you go for an all-out attack against these armies, you won't be able to win. Be extra careful and try to bait the enemy spells and then retreat. If the enemy reaches the 4th age before you do, you should avoid fighting at all costs, and likewise, if everything is to be determined in a single fight, make sure to advance to the 4th age and with the power of Atlas erase the entire army in one shot. After reaching the 4th age, you are mostly interested on flaming arrows that will help you destroy buildings, and also fanatics which are available from the palace. Fanatics is a very strong anti-infantry unit that can prove very useful if you mix them on an army with Contarius. And that's pretty much it for our Gaia's beginner's guide. Of course, you can take any of this info and create your own strategies and adjust them to your opponent's behavior as you see fit. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and some positive feedback, subscribe for more relevant content, and see you on the next video.